I'm going to show you guys how to install your Soniq retractable screen. When you take it out of the packaging, it is going to feel a bit like a tangled mess. So let me show you how to build it first, and then we'll give you a couple options for installing it. To build it, you need a big flat area, like a floor. A big table would work, but a floor is usually the way to go. So there's 4 parts here. We have the screen pack, the top and bottom track, and then this receiving side. And the top and the bottom are not differentiated. You could just turn the whole thing upside down, and so the top and the bottom are kind of interchangeable, so don't stress about that. But what you need to do is get it laid out so that these strings are not twisted and tangled, and just get them as straight and loose and free as possible. And pack and this receiving side apart a little bit, and these strings get kind of tight, but just kind of be gentle and help it open up. We have to open it up wide enough for this track to come in here. Now the string runs inside of the track like so, and then this little plastic tongue pushes into the aluminum right there, and just keep an eye on it so you're not pinching that string anywhere. And we're going to fasten that on both sides. So now we'll come down to the bottom track here. Same thing, just lay the string kind of in the track, and without pinching it, push that in the groove there. Now we're going to do the screen pack side, and you want to get it set up kind of like this. First, get that string deep up in there, and then before you insert the screen pack tongue into the track, you got to get the screen itself. So I'm laying that up in there. And now let's do that on the other side. I'm just pulling the screen pack back so that both the tongue and on this one and the screen itself kind of find their way in there. Come on. What's going on here? There we go. See that? You kind of have to stretch it a little bit. Now let's go back to the other side. And now we're getting this tongue in here. If you have a piece of string, you know, that's kind of flopping around, maybe about to get pinched, try pulling the screen as it like closed, and that should tighten up the string. And then we're gonna push that tongue in there like so. So now we've got it together, and we'll do a little test before we install it, but your screen should push right across the track like that. If it doesn't for some reason, that's because the string is pinched, probably in one of these corners, and you just need to come to the corner, pull it apart, see what's going on, and then push it back in there. But it should pull nice and easy across, and you can kind of pick the screen up to do that test as well. See that? Actually,
string hanging out like
yeah. Actually, I do have a problem here. I have a string that is falling down right here. See this, how that string is coming out? I'm not sure if you're able to see that. But I have a little issue here, so let me take this apart and see what's going on. Everything looks good right there. I have no idea why it's doing that. What the heck? Okay, our screen is together, and now we're gonna install it. And there's 2 ways you can do this. Most of the time, it will get screwed to the window. If you come to the corner, there's a little plastic cover here, and it lifts up very easily. And you put a sheet metal screw, like a self-tapping screw, right in that hole. These are the screws that we like to use, a number 8 3/4 inch, and a screw will go in each corner, And over on the screen canister side, you access that by pulling the cover out and away from the rest of the screen, like so. And then we're gonna put a screw right back here into the window. Now, while I'm screwing this in, it might be difficult for you guys to see, so I'm just showing you that right here. But the screen canister comes straight out, and then it will push straight back in. Now, the other way to do this, and the way that I'm gonna do it right now, is with Velcro. And that's because I haven't decided for sure if I want screens in the windows up here, number one. If you use Velcro, you can take them back off very easily, whereas if you screw them in, they need to stay because you put those screws through the frame. So I'm gonna use this adhesive Velcro, and I will stick it to the back of the screen and then push it into the opening so that I have the option to pull it down, or I can make up my mind if I want it to be permanent. I know, it's gross. Now let's put this in the window. Whether you're using screws or Velcro, you want to get it aligned right. And what I'm going to do is set the screen on a couple of these plastic shims. And then as far as alignment goes, this receiving side right here, you want to align that basically flush with the sash of the window. And then the top and the bottom, you just want them to match. And you kind of adjust that based on the height of your shims. But these shims are just about right here. And since I'm using the Velcro anyways, it's a little bit forgiving. So make sure I like that. Not yet. There we go. Okay. And one more protective film here. And I know it's hard to see through the camera, but now your screen is in place and functioning. And 99% of the time, people are installing these with sheet metal screws, so they're permanent. So that's probably what I would recommend, but I'm using Velcro, like I said, because number one, I haven't made up my mind if I want them at all in here. And number two, I've got a little bit of work to do on this trim here, a little bit of caulking and finish work. So I'm gonna be able to take those out so I can finish that later. If you're having a problem like this, where no matter what you do, you got it together and everything works fine, except that string is falling down. If you look in the track here, you'll see a little set screw. And on our bottom track here, it's just, fix this. It's just on the opposite side of the screen pack. So it's right about here. Up top, I have that little set screw. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's right there, which is just about on the other side of the screen pack. These need to be oriented when you're laying everything out so that that little set screw, here's the better example, is closer to the closing side than to the screen pack side. So I'm gonna take this down and take it apart and fix that and see if that solves the problem. Okay, that made all the difference. I'm learning as I go here, obviously, but that's the way it should be done. The screw that holds the string should be on the closing side, and that'll tighten everything up. And then the last thing I'll say, if you're gonna do the Velcro like I did, just don't shim it up, just let it sit right on the sill, because it will kind of sag and fall down, and the weight, it's gonna come down either way. So just let it sit on the sill. That's fine. But the screws kind of are the permanent way to go, so you're gonna wanna put them in. And then you're also gonna want a little piece of Velcro or tape or double-sided tape or something right here. Without it, this thing, it'll do a little rattle. which is fine. It doesn't sound great. So put a little piece of tape in the center here to make that sound, you know, nice and sturdy. But hopefully that answers your questions. And if you have other questions or problems, put them in the comments and I will help you out if I can. Thanks.